Hello everyone and welcome back to the Synergy Sanctum. My name is Justin. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here at the Synergy Sanctum, we specialize in all things related to Magic the Gathering, with a specific focus on deck building. So I aim to show you very quick deck techs that'll show you all of the cards in the deck and how they work together to ultimately achieve the goals of that deck. If you're not already, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate that. And we also have a sister channel now, so head on over to Commander Coliseum and check out their content as well. And for today's deck tech, we have another Avatar The Last Airbender spoiler with the Fire Lord, Ozai, the Phoenix King. And EDH Deck tech just doing, Rakdos stuff, not a ton of strategy here, just trying to really benefit off of this firebending. And I feel like I made this deck more for the theme of Avatar and the Fire Nation than to actually do anything too crazy. But it's got some decent stuff in it that could still win. Really kind of just going in on commander damage with Ozai and boosting him with all of this mana. So Ozai the Phoenix King, 6 mana to play. He has Trample, Firebending 4, and Haste. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes red instead, so you can just build up your mana pool. And then he has Flying and Indestructible as long as you have 6 or more unspent mana. So that is going to happen very easily with all of these Firebenders in this set. Pretty steep TCG market value. It might be because of the spoilers, but it might just be also because of some of the better cards in Rakdos we're running. So TCG market value is $289 to $331 for this deck, and then we're running 35 lands, with 16 of those being basics between the two colors and 19 of those being non-basics. So we're gonna get into it today, and we're gonna talk through the Firebenders to start. This is the Fire Nation King. We have to run all the Firebenders. So we are running Zuko Firebending Master. He has Firebending X, where X is equal to the experience counters, and you gain those by casting spells during combat. Firebending Student, Firebends for X, where X is your power. Vindictive Warden is a good mana sink to do damage to opponents. Zuko Exiled Prince is another good mana sink, and he also has Firebending 3, but you can get Pseudo Draw with him. Avatar Roku Firebender is getting you 6 red mana a turn, so really broken, and you can build up a ton of mana with Avatar Roku, or you can just boost Ozai with the 3 ability here. Azula Ruthless Firebender, such a sick art here, but when she attacks you can discard a card, then you get experience counters for each player who discarded a card this turn, and then till end of turn she gets +1 equal to your experience counter, so she works really well with Zuko. Firelord Ozai says when it attacks you can sack a creature to get red equal to its power. And then you can sink 6 mana into this to exile the top card of every opponent's library, and you can play one of those without paying its mana cost. Fire Sages boosts itself as a mana sink, and then Azula on the Hunt has Firebending 2, and when she attacks you get clue tokens. And then Zuko Conflicted, not necessarily a Firebender, but he does add red mana. At the beginning of your first main phase, you choose one that hasn't been chosen, and you lose 2 life, so you either draw, he gets a counter, or you get red mana, and then you can blink him. And it goes to an opponent's control at that point. And then even more firebending, so we are running the Legend of Roku Saga, get you Pseudo Draw, get you mana, and then it becomes Avatar Roku, who has Firebending 4, and then an amazing mana sink at 8 to make a dragon with Firebending 4, so super broken. Fire Nation Palace is giving a creature Firebending 4 for the turn, and then Sozun's Comet, so broken, but it's giving every single creature Firebending 5 until end of turn, and then it has Foretell as well, so you could play it for less. And then here are all of the mana sinks we're running in Rakdos, so some of the more expensive cards that you can sink all of this mana into you're going to make. So Torment of Hailfire, you're going to repeat the process X times. Everyone's going to lose 3 unless they sack permanents or discards a card. Inferno of the Star Mounts, you can sink 20 red into this to do 20 damage to a target. Storm King's Thunder is another great mono red mana sink. You can copy an instant or sorcery spell X times and choose new targets for the copy. So depending on how much mana, just imagine like copying Torment of the Hailfire multiple times. Oh, so broken. Faded Firepower, you can sink a bunch of mana into this to make sources that are dealing damage do more. Rise of the Dark Realms to bring everything back. Exsanguate's a great one to sink mana into and drain everyone life and you gain. Jaya's Immolating Inferno, even though it's a sorcery, it's dealing X damage of up to 3 targets, so super broken there. Electro Dominance is a great mana sink for damage. Then you get to play something for free. Hellkite Charger and Aggravated Assault to sink the red mana in, and then you can keep attacking with Ozai, flying indestructible in the air, as long as you're getting the amount of mana that you need, whether it's 5 or 7, respectively. And then even more mana sinks, we've got a Damnable Pact, lets a target player draw X and lose X life. Comet Storm can blow up stuff, so can Banefire. Commune with Lava is a great mana sink to give you pseudo draw, and then Crackle with Powers, dealing 5 times X damage to up to X targets. So 3 separate modes of X, but again, if you got a ton of mana, this is going to get out of hand pretty quickly. And then other good stuff in the deck, we're running a Withering Torment to deal with a problem creature enchantment. The Last Agni Kai is letting you also save your red mana for a bigger kind of spell later for the turn. Witch's Clinic is giving Ozai lifelink for the turn. Terminate's blowing up something. Kedis Emberclaw Familiar is ensuring that Ozai's damage goes everywhere. So if he connects with one person, they're all going to take that damage. Goldspan Dragon's giving you a bunch of treasures and doubling the mana from them. Chaos Warp to deal with a problem permanent. Atali Primal Storm is giving you stuff from your opponents every time it attacks. Blasphemous Act is our board wipe. And then Fire Nation Sentinels, another Fire Nation card here. But when a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, you get to put a counter on everybody. So just make an Ozai bigger again. And then more good stuff in the deck. We're running that doubling cube from the Avatar Roku video. You're going to double up all of the mana in your mana pool. It's just so broken. And then Ozai, like being indestructible, is just ensuring that that mana never goes away. Fane, Roku's companion, can make Ozai even bigger for the turn. Feed the Swarm to deal with a creature enchantment. And then Epic Downfall to get rid of a big creature. You exile it. And then decent amount of draw on the deck. We got an Unexpected Windfall, get you 2 draws and 2 treasures. Read the Bones, scry 2, and then draw 2. Thrill of Possibility lets you draw 2 at the cost of 1. Laffy Mad and Electric Revelations lets you draw 2 at the cost of 1, but they also have Flashback 4 to do it again. Solstice Revelations is letting you get pseudo draw, and then you can cast it. Big Score to draw 2 and get 2 treasures. Demand Answers is letting you draw 2 at the cost of 1. Deadly Dispute wants you to sack a creature or an artifact, and then you draw 2 and get a treasure. And then Blood for the Blood God, a lot of mana, but it costs 1 less for each creature that died this turn, and you get to discard your hand, draw 8 cards, and it does 8 damage to everybody. So broken in this deck. And then even more draw, we're going to be having a lot of mana in our mana pool, so anytime someone draws, we can pay into Mind's Eye to draw with them. Phyrexian Arena lets you draw at upkeep, and then Bonder's Enclave, we're totally going to have something 4 or greater with Ozai, so you can draw for 3. And then here's all of the mana in the deck. We're running a Stormkiln Artist to get us treasures off of instant or sorceries. Solemn's fetching us a land and giving us a draw. Soul Rain is our rock. Runaway Steamkin, every time you're casting a red spell, he's getting bigger. And then you can remove counters from him to add 3 red mana. And there's kind of those other synergies to put counters on him as well. So good little engine there. Seething Song and Dark Ritual are giving you additional mana. We've got our Mana Dorks with Ornithopter of Paradise, Leaden Mirror, and Iron Mirror. Mana Geyser is going to get you a ton of red for tapped lands. Burnished Hearts fetching you lands. And then Neheb the Eternals get you red mana for each life your opponents have lost this turn. And with that, our show has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching our video. And if you enjoyed that video, feel free to share it out with any friends who might find value in it as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. We hope to see you again soon. Have a good one.